Welcome. This is Accounting with Bennett Tchaikovsky. Our topic today is inventory costing using LIFO Perpetual. This is copyright 2008 to 2018 by Bennett Tchaikovsky, all rights reserved. So we're going back to the problem that we had earlier, which was OAI. And now we're being asked to use last in, first out, perpetual, or LIFO Perpetual. And when we're looking at perpetual, remember, similar to everything else that we're doing, we need to take 16,000 units to cost of goods sold. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to go through each of these sales one by one and determine what exactly we need to take to cost of goods sold. Now, I'm just going to slightly update this just a little bit here for us so we can make sure that we're kind of able to follow along perhaps a little bit better. So let's go ahead and get started. So last in, first out perpetual. When I'm doing a perpetual method, the dates matter. So I know I need to expense the cost of 16,000 units to cost of goods sold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here with my sale of 1/14/20. And here I sold 7,000 units. So I'm using last in, first out. The last goods in are going to be the first ones that are expensed to cost of goods sold. So when I look at my sale on January 14th, I notice here that my very most recent purchase was on January 12th. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically take, I need 7,000 units right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this here from my inventory on 1/12/20. My units from here is I can only take 5,000. Now I know that I need more units than 5,000, but this is all I actually have available. And my cost per unit is going to be $2 per unit. And so when I come here, perfect, my cost per unit. So my total right here is going to be $10,000. So I made a sale on January 14th, 2020, and I sold 7,000 units. And what I'm trying to do here is I need to basically figure out how do I determine my cost of goods sold. So going back here, so what I'm going to be doing right here is once I've removed these 5,000 units, are they still around? And the answer is no. These are now going down to 0 because I've put them into cost of goods sold here. So I'm going to be marking this here as 0. And in order for us who were following at home, I had 5,000 units on 1/12. And here I basically, or I just say 5,000 units. And on 1/14, sale 5,000 units equals 0 units. Okay. So I've expensed 5,000 units to cost of goods sold, total of $10,000. But I'm not done. I need more. So where am I going to take the next one from? Last in, first out. Remember, I'm doing perpetual, so I can't come down here. These dates have not yet happened. So what I need to do is to go to my beginning inventory. And if I sold 7,000 units, I have 5,000 units so far. I need another 2,000 units from here. So I'm going to come this, basically pull this from January 1st, 2020. I'm going to take 2,000 units at $1.25 and make this nice part here. There we go. Perfect. So my total cost of goods sold right here is going to be $2,500 for these 2,000 units, or a total of $12,500. Note, once I had 10,000 units, and I'm from the 114 sale of 2,000 units, I now have 8,000 units left. So here, I now have 8,000 units. Why is it that I have 8,000 units? Because I sold 7,000. I took 5,000 from here. That wasn't enough. I need to basically have my cost of goods sold for 7,000 units. So I need to take another 2,000 units from here. So again, we're on our way to taking 16,000 units to cost of goods sold. So I'm doing LIFO Perpetual. Perpetual means that I keep on going in the order of the sale dates. So I now come to my next sale on 1/21/20. And here I sold 6,000 units. So I sold 6,000 units on January 21st. Where do I take this from? Well, last in, first out. So I'm first going to take it here from my January 17th purchase. This will be 2,000 units here at a total of $2.50, giving me a total cost of goods sold right here from that one particular sale of 5,000. However, note, I'm not done. These 2,000 units are gone. And here I had 2,000 units minus the January 21st sale. I now have sale of 2,000 units. I now have 0 units. So where do I go next? Well, I'd like to go to January 12th, but those are all gone. So I need to go back to my beginning inventory, and I need to take another 4,000 units. I sold 6,000 units. I took 2,000 from here on January 17th, and I need another 4,000 units from here. So I'm going to take 8,000 units minus my January 21st sale, 4,000 units. Total here is going to be 4,000 units. Notice here that if I'm looking at my January 14th sale, right, 2,000 units, 5,000 units, total of 7. My January 21st sale, 4,000 plus 2,000 sale here, total of 6,000 units. So I'm going to pull this from my beginning inventory, and I'm going to have 4,000 units here at $1.25 for a total of $5,000. Once I've expensed 4,000 of these units to cost of goods sold, this number is now 4,000. So as I look at this so far, we're doing LIFO Perpetual. What does that mean? Last in, first out. So I've gone through and I've done these 2 sales. Remember, under all of the inventory costing methods, I need to come up with a total of 16,000 units being sold. I'm right now only at 13,000. I have 5 and 2 and 2 and 4, a total of 13,000. So I now go down to my next sale date, which is on January 27th, 2020. And here I sold 3,000 units. So for these 3,000 units that I sold on January 27th, I'm going to go into last in, first out. So here, my purchase, where I'm going to pull these 3,000 from, is from this January 26th purchase. So I sold 3,000 units And for this 3,000 units, I sold, the cost of these 3,000 units were $4 per unit. So my total cost of goods sold here from this one particular sale is going to be $12,000. Note here that once I have these 3,000 units sold, I need to remove these from the inventory. So here I had 4,000 units minus my 127 sale of 3,000 units. I'm now left with 1,000 units. So I'm here at I'm here at 1,000, excuse me. And now I'm ready to solve my problem. So the thing I want to check is here, the total number of units that I've taken to cost of goods sold is 16,000. That always has to be the same. And my total amount of cost of goods sold is going to be 34,500. So I will be asking on my exams for two things. I'm going to ask you for cost of goods sold under LIFO or last in, first out perpetual. And that cost of goods sold under LIFO perpetual will be 34,500. The next thing I'm going to be asking for is for the ending inventory. Now, we remember before, gas, or my goods available for sale, minus my cost of goods sold is equal to my ending inventory. And here, my goods available for sale, which is one of the constants, my total goods available for sale was 68,500. My cost of goods sold under LIFO perpetual is 34,500. So that must mean my ending inventory is going to be $34,000. So under LIFO perpetual, my cost of goods sold is 34,500, and my ending inventory value is going to be right here at, sorry about this, I just want to put a nice little border down here if I can. Let's make this a little bit darker so we can follow. There we go. So my goods available for sale was 68,500. That never changes, right? That is always going to be the same. My goods available for sale is going to be the same for every single problem that I do. My cost of goods sold, I computed that to be 34,500. So therefore, my ending inventory right here will be $34,000. Now, if I wanted to see if this number was correct, how would I do it? If I go back to my inventory, kind of, I would say the inventory of my inventory, and looked at the remaining units, I'm going to notice a few things. The first is the remaining units total up to 10,000. One of the constants that we always compute and that we always use is our total units and ending inventory. I know that this has to be 10,000. Now, as I look at this here, I'm able to see that, well, what is that 10,000 made of? We had 4,000 units at $1.25 for a total of 5,000. Then later on, we had 1,000 units at $4 for a total of 4,000. 5,000 units at $5 for a total of 25,000. And when I add all these up, magically, this is the same number that I'm computing down below. I do not need to do both the ending inventory calculation and the cost of goods sold calculation. I recommend it to you as you're first starting to go through and to do these problems and to get a better understanding, but you really only need to do one once you have figured out goods available for sale. So under LIFO perpetual, let's remember what we're trying to do. We're going by the dates. We take every single sale And what we're doing is we're looking at what was in inventory as of that date. We go last in, first out. So here, my most recent purchase was the first one that was expensed to cost of goods sold. I continue to do that for every single one of the transactions, and I come up with my total cost of goods sold. I can reduce that from my goods available for sale, and I then end up with my ending inventory value. So thank you again for stopping by and hearing this presentation on how to go through and compute cost of goods sold and ending inventory using LIFO Perpetual. Thank you.